welcome back to Castaway TV. I believe I said it in the last episode, but I'll say it again now. I'm putting the podcast on hold for now. I just really don't have the time right now between work and fishing. I'm coming into the fall season, there's not as much daylight, and I'm really focused on trying to catch fish and make fishing videos. So for now, the podcast is on hold. I want to film a few episodes in a row, get some guests, and then maybe I'll release it in a series so it's not as much pressure on a weekly deadline. But yeah, so for those that come to watch addiction stuff, it's still going to come out, just on hold for now. But today's video is going to be about fishing rods and reels and the setups I'm using right now. I said I was going to in my last video, so here we go. I didn't expect to get so much into fishing, I think I said that as well, but this past year I've really dove into it. I've got multiple setups now. I don't even have the same rod I had last year, and we're targeting different species and we're really learning how to actually find big fish and target the fish that we want to catch. Before, I was kind of just going out and using whatever baits I could to catch a fish, but whether it was going to be a pike or a bass or sunfish, I really didn't know. But now we have specific fish we're targeting, and since I started doing that, we've been catching better fish. So yeah, I thought I would show you my setups, tell you what I'm using, so if you want to go out and try and catch the same type of fish as me, you can. Alright, to dive into the first rod, this is my everyday use rod. I use this one probably the most and cast this one the most, although I just got this reel. It's a Daiwa Laguna HSLA 100. It's similar to the one I have on my bass rod. It casts really well and it's very affordable. This was only a $70 reel, so when it comes to baitcasters, that's very low cost, and for how it works, I'm super happy with it. On this, I have 50-pound braided line, and of course a leader at the end. I believe that's a 50-pound leader as well. And this rod's mainly going to be used for spinner baits like this Blue Fox. As I said in my last video, I'm targeting these bigger pike, and basically the technique I'm using is using a spinner style bait to try and find fish, and then after that using different swim baits and bigger baits to try and capitalize on bigger fish. So this rod definitely gets used the most, and although I just put this reel on, still super excited for it, and I'm ready to catch another fish on it soon. This second rod here, I actually got a while back, and we ended up breaking it when we flipped the boat back a couple months ago, I guess. So it just came back in, and this reel I was actually using on the rod I just showed you, but I've switched it back, so it's back to the complete setup. This is a Shimano Chaos is what I'm going to call it. This is a two-piece rod. The last one was a one-piece, but super good rod. They're both very similar. They are both a medium heavy rod. The reels are both 7.2 to 1 ratios, so very similar setup. This one has 40-pound line on it, another 50-pound leader, and this one I'll probably put like crankbait, jerkbait, and I'll have it set up so that when I'm out on the boat, instead of having to switch the lures, I can just switch from the spinning rod to the other bait rod, I guess. Not that that's necessary, but since I have it, I'm going to use it. I bought that other rod to replace this one for the time being, and now that it's back, we just have another rod. Now this rod I'm super excited about. I've been having a lot of fun using it, and I've caught some big fish already on it. This past weekend, I actually caught its first musky, and this is my musky rod. So it's got a big reel on it. It's a Shimano Corvallis 400 series reel, 50-pound braid again. Now a lot of people use bigger braid. This is just what I had at the time, and it's working, so why change it? But But yeah, these reels are made for those big fish, and also to carry lots of line, so when those fish burn that drag, you have lots of line to not lose that fish, that trophy fish that you may never catch again. And the rod is a Shimano Sojourn. It's a cheap musky rod, probably the cheapest out of the bunch, but great rod. It throws the lures I want. After that, I think the next cheapest musky rod is probably 150, and then you're going anywhere from 200 to 500 after that. So it's a great starter musky rod. And on it, I've got like a 100-pound leader, because those musky don't mess around. They got quite the bite on them. This setup goes somewhere between $200 and $250. Actually, all of these setups that I'm showing you today do. So they're kind of just a step above that complete rod you'll get, like a Quantum. But very good working rods, and will catch any fish that you're trying to go out there and catch. Now, you'll watch other videos and people are using these $500, $600 rods, and I'd rather spend that to get all the rods I need instead of just one rod. But I mean, if you had the money, then I guess buy the best of anything. But these are just as effective and are going to bring in the fish you want. And this goes to our last setup today. This is my bass setup. Basically super simple. It's got a weight and a hook. You just throw on whatever plastic you want. I use the Guggen baits because they've worked well for me, so I just keep using them. It's got 12-pound fluorocarbon on it. Casts very well. And as I said, this is a Daiwa Laguna 100 HL. So very similar reel to the one I just showed you on my first run. But this setup is not meant for those toothy critters. It's meant to catch those bass, hook those bass. And this is a medium power rod. So it's got a little more give. You'll feel those bumps a little easier. And it's just, this rod is super fun. I love catching bass no matter what size they are, because you just get that nibble, you do that hook set. Super exciting. But yeah, super fun rod to use, nice and light. And the setup goes very well together. This is a Daiwa rod, a Fugo, one piece. Yeah. Another thing you can't go without when fishing is tons of lures. As I said, this is kind of just my bass bag. All just different types of Guggen baits, hooks, weights, and great for a day of bass fishing. I haven't really used other plastics since I started using these, just because they've been very effective for me. Let me know below if you've got a brand that I should try. These baits are the fun ones, but the expensive ones, the musky baits. They're big, they're flashy, big swim baits, super hard to cast. Some musky baits are like half a pound. I don't have any of those, but they're out there. But you throw these all day, you get a little sore. So that's why you have another rod to kind of throw a little spinner bait on, see if you can bring one in, and then once you find them, these bad girls come out to play. Other than that, I've got one full of crankbaits. I bought like a bunch of crankbaits, and literally I've only caught a couple fish on them. I really need to learn how to use these and when and where and whatever. I will say though, out of all of the lures I've had, this is the lure. The pink spinnerbait with a swim bait trailer. I have caught absolutely the most fish on them. Spinnerbaits in general, great bait. And this one, literally like any type of fish will bite this. For whatever reason, the pink gets them going. And if I'm just going out for a day of fishing and I was gonna bring one lure to catch a fish, this is probably the lure I would use. I know everybody's probably got a different one they would use. This is just what I've had great success on this year. Yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this today. I know not every one of my people that watch this channel may be into fishing, but for the ones that are, I hope this helps you go out and catch some big fish this year. As I said, it's fall time, baby, and the water temp is going down. the days are getting shorter, but the bites are getting harder. So get out there, cast some lines, and try and catch a big one this fall. Thanks for watching. As always, one day at a time. And be ready for that next video. We got a musky camping adventure coming at you soon.